So the New York Times is essentially describing the way these new weight loss drugs trigger the same effects. It's the same process. So then I want to ask a question that the article doesn't ask at all. Why take these drugs? Why not just change your diet? That's the question they never ask or answer. Hello, friends. It's the Carnivore Rabbi. A rabbi is a teacher and source of inspiration, and that's what this channel provides for carnivores of all faiths. Welcome. The New York Times just published an article about the new obesity drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy, and it made the case for the carnivore diet better than almost anything I've seen or heard recently. So this story in today's New York Times is about the related benefits of these drugs. It discussed cases in which Ozempic and Wegovy relieved other problems besides weight loss. So here's the beginning of the article so you get a sense of it. Lisa Walton suffered for years with rheumatoid arthritis. It was awful, said Miss Walton, 57, who lives in Washington. I kept getting sicker and sicker. She also had high blood pressure and she was obese. Doctors told her to diet and exercise, which she did to no avail. Then she found a doctor who prescribed Wegovy, one of the new obesity drugs. Not only did she lose more than 50 pounds, she said, her arthritis cleared up and she no longer needed pills to lower her blood pressure. Her new doctor, Dr. Steffi Deeds, an internist and obesity medicine specialist in Seattle, said that Ms. Walton exemplifies a growing movement in obesity medicine. Proponents call it obesity first. The idea is to treat obesity with medications approved for that use. As obesity comes under control, they note the patient's other chronic diseases tend to improve or go away. This is exactly what happens to carnivores. Many come for weight loss or some other concrete issue, and then they see other chronic problems totally healed. Kerry Mann, the Homestead How, talks about how his heart murmur and sleep apnea disappeared a few weeks after becoming a carnivore, and the heart murmur had been with him for over 40 years, his whole life. The stomach pain I have had since middle school disappeared a few weeks after starting carnivore. All these doctors had said, maybe I have mild IBS. Nothing ever helped. Carnivore, gone after a few weeks. Then, of course, as a carnivore, there are the mental health benefits. Carnivore soldier Larry says, come for the weight loss, stay for the mental health. And that's a feeling many carnivores get. So the New York Times is essentially describing the way these new weight loss drugs trigger the same effects. It's the same process. So then I want to ask a question that the article doesn't ask at all. Why take these drugs? Why not just change your diet? That's the question they never ask or answer. And here's the startling truth. We have the order wrong. Instead of starting with medication, we should start with diet. Why? Changing your diet rather than taking drugs is safer and more long-lasting. It increases the likelihood of long-term success. It's so easy to give up taking a pill. People do it all the time because there can be major side effects. And we don't even know what the potential side effects these medications will have months and years from now. But the carnivore diet has been pretty time-tested. Animal-based diets generally, you don't have to be strict carnivore to see the benefits. These diets have been time-tested for, several million years. We've eaten meat since we became human beings, and even before that. Now I'm going to say something controversial here. I think drugs like Ozempic have their place. They can be helpful for many people. In fact, I know people I love and care about who take them and have made vast improvements in their health. But why not start with diet and nutrition? To me, starting with drugs is like a middle school student using AI, artificial intelligence, to learn how to write a paper, rather than studying and learning how to formulate thoughts and sentences on their own. Sure, AI is quicker, but it doesn't develop the brain and body in the way learning to think and write does. It's like deciding to run a marathon and then finishing that marathon in a golf cart. That's not what we are designed to do. We are designed to thrive in and live with our best body in mind. The proper human diet fills that body in mind. It fuels it. Every species has an appropriate diet, a species-appropriate diet. Dogs do, bears do, fish do. Our species-appropriate diet is animal-based. But here's a deeper question. Why do these weight loss drugs help seemingly unrelated illnesses? And why does carnivore? What is going on in the body? What the article says should sound very familiar to we carnivores. Quote, the new obesity drugs seem to have effects on the brain and the body that go far beyond quelling urges to eat. These effects can occur almost immediately, said Dr. Susan Z. Yanofsky, co-director of the Office of Obesity Research at the National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Diseases. Try saying that twice. She noted that when Novo Nordisk conducted a clinical trial of Wegovy in people with heart disease, cardiac complications diminished early in the course of treatment before the patients lost much weight. The company now reports that they also had improvements in their kidney functions independent of weight loss. Participants taking Wegovy who lost very little weight had the same sort of improvements in kidney functions as those who lost a lot. Fascinating. A recent study by Novo Nordisk testing Ozempic in people with diabetes and kidney disease found the same thing. Kidney function was better preserved in the group taking Ozempic, an effect that was independent of weight loss. Now here we go. A large part of the effect may be the drug's ability to reduce inflammation, said Dr. Daniel Drucker, an obesity researcher at Lunenfeld Tannenbaum Research Institute, Mount Sinai Hospital in Toronto. It occurs before weight loss. Yes, inflammation. And what is the least inflammatory way of eating? Carnivore. Yes. I asked a doctor friend why very few healthcare providers talk about diet in a serious way, given that it has just as good effects with none of the side effects or side illnesses as these drugs. He gave me several reasons. A big one is standard of care. Illnesses in America and around the world have prescribed treatments covered by insurance. Doctors have to stick to these prescribed treatments to get paid and not get sued. A second reason is the feeling that lifestyle changes are virtually impossible. Many healthcare providers believe patients cannot and will not change their diet seriously. So why push something that will likely be fruitless? It's easier to just give meds instead. To me, that sounds like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Low expectations often lead to low results. And good doctors know how to encourage patients to do hard things, especially if they can experience extraordinary benefits. So then the even deeper question is, how can we make serious, meaningful change if we want to? Now, if you want to answer that question, see this video, but we'll get into it even more in the next few days.